Nancy and the ISTC for their wonderful hosting and doing all this, because none of it would have been possible without that. So let's give them a hand right now. I had the pleasure of going around to lots of different places and meetings, talking about different things. And I went to the Biochar summer school that was held in Germany. And it was in Potsdam this September at the ATB. 23 scientists and young researchers, PhD students, arriving from a variety of different countries. Most of them had a European connection. The ones from Asia were studying in Europe. They did not all come from that far away for the conference. They were actually over there. This was sponsored by European groups. They gathered together the money and put it all there. About 20 international and local experts. I was the only one from the United States. There was a student from Denver, and there was an American who was actually a New Zealander who was also over there. But otherwise, it is not a North American entity. Am I thinking that? No. Okay. All right. So there's a picture of the...
You're not that good.
Picture of the different group and stuff into there, so as it goes along. That's the website. Now, you really want to copy that down. I mean, it's going to be hard to get to all this, but I think if you go to Google search Biochar Summer School Germany 2012 or something, it'll come up, because there's stuff at that site that you will want to have. There is at that site a 2-page summary. That's nice. I'm not giving you that content in here. There were 13 lectures presented as PowerPoints, and those documents are there. There were things on hydrothermal. There was on the supercapacitors. There was on the bio-oils. There was on production of biochar, and the soils, and the plants, and everything else. So we are now completing 4 hours and 15 minutes, 4.5 hours, and 1 hour for lunch. All right? We did that, double that, every day for 5 days. So if you've had any trouble staying for this session, imagine doing it another 10 times more so than this, okay? All these topics were brought in. Fantastic event, and what was going on with it, it was much more school than it was academic conference presentations, because we had the lectures, but then we had lots of discussions and things that went on with it. These were most of them were PhD students, and they had a great diversity of interest. And I'm looking at the Chicago people and the Champaign-Urbana people and others on here. My punchline at the end is, why don't we try to do something along this category? I mean, there's some things in here that go with it. The students presented 21 different posters, and there's also a picture. All of those are at that website, and you'll also then see the picture gallery of some pictures and things. So I'll give you a few of the pictures from it. Classroom scenes. We had a nice conference room like that. We met together in it. We had side discussions with group things and group dynamics and a whole bunch of different. There was a role-playing scene, a session during one of the afternoons, things like that. The biochar laboratory experiments. It was at a technical institute. It is like a university. They have laboratory space and things like that. And so, well, they had lab coats for everybody and rubber gloves if you wanted it. Or, of course, if you wanted to get into biochar, you get your hands dirty a little bit like that. So we're out there weighing it, putting them into incubators and all the other kind of stuff. 3 types of lab experiments were conducted during the week. And those were one was a seed germination, put the seeds in and incubate them, and then we're out there measuring them and seeing which ones there were. Earthworm avoidance tests. How many of you are familiar with earthworm avoidance tests? How many of you have done an earthworm avoidance test? Okay, a few. Something like that is an experience which, when you get your hands dirty, but it tells you something about the different chars. We had over 25 samples of biochar brought in by the presenters and by the students. They're all put together. This was not a conclusive one-time, multiple replications and stuff like that, but extremely interesting from the learning experience side of things. And the water retention experiment, where they picked it up, they mixed it in, everything was uniform around in there with it. So in that way, a real lab experience and very, very interesting. Oh, by the way, my biochar was dead last, okay, in these characters. The biochar that I brought was the biochar from Jatropha seed. Where's John? Jatropha seed biochar made in a TLUD must be containing some of the negative attributes in it. The earthworms avoided it. Was it 9 to 1 was missing? 10 earthworms. I mean, this type of thing. It had a problem. But that's related to the parent material. That is not a result that we can publicize as such in the definitive study. But boy, does it open a window for what are we going to do about this. And there was other ones which were done on that. Biochar production. I get into this stuff because of biochar production. And 3 of these here, these are the same, well, it's all the same one. Daytime I lit it up once, and I did it also at night. A barrel size of it, making biochar. And the evening time, when we were having a party, we had dinner and everything else with it, really nice group, have 10 devices ignited all at once. Sort of lightning effect, stuff like that. We had a good time. I mean, students, we're not going to do this if it's not fun, right? Okay. All right, so there was a public debate about biochar. And they had 2 speakers that were up in the front, and they were taking pros and cons on the different types of issues and things. And then the organizers had the topics put on the screen, and the people, everybody that entered had a laser pointer like this. And you would point at this. I want to talk about projection devices, or there would be something that's up on the screen. You get to select your topic that way. And then we would also vote after having what was said. Did you agree with the position? Point it into that left corner. If you didn't agree with it, point it into that corner. And we would be able to see reactions coming back from 150 people or something, whatever was in the room. Very interesting type of a discussion that went along with that. So the public debate on it. Also, we had this past summer, and Nancy, help me out, we didn't meet since Sonoma. Or we did?
No, we met before the energy.
Yeah, so there was the Sonoma Biochar Convention or conference out there, and that was something we were going to talk about, and we haven't talked about it at all. The things which I was saying about the event that was in this one in Germany, we could have a similar series of slides and pictures and stuff like that. Who went to Sonoma? Kurt was there, I was there. A couple other people but these types of events are pretty good, right? They get interesting when they're out there talking about the topics that we're really interested in, and they get kind of, oh, well, when can we move on to the other topics? When you're not, because it's so absolutely wide-ranging. You've got to be prepared for that situation with this. So you go to this site here, 2012.biochar.us.com, and you'll have access to over 600 photos. You'll find videos of the plenary sessions, and you'll find also the videos of Biochar Bob. What about biochar? Very few of you. Okay, the purpose of my presentation here is to try to open the windows a little bit more for it. Go look at these websites and find the PowerPoints from Germany or out there that were in California that are related to your particular interest. And likewise, we want them, the biochar community in general, to know what goes on here at the Illinois Biochar Group, because we are already cited by the IBI and the U.S. Biochar Initiative. These are different groups and stuff like that in with it. So please consider all of that. And my last slide, there's hope for all of you folks. You too can go to a major biochar conference. The next one coming up is going to be out in Massachusetts. It's in October. The information is up there. PV is Pioneer Valley Biochar.org. Pioneer Valley is a local geographical region that has a biochar group and stuff. It's their website, but it's being actually organized by the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. And Hugh McLaughlin is he's on the panel. I think he is the lead person for vetting and getting on who's presenting and who's not presenting. You will find at some of these meetings some very grandiose statements being made, and later on, 2 meetings later, this company is bankrupt, or it's gone, or they're in jail, or there's, these other types, or they're successful. Either way, you want to go there and you see it. If you're into biochar, you want to go and see some of these things here. So the U.S. biochar, the U.S. biochar has its news site. That's its site there, biochar.us.com, and you'll be able to see those types of things. So the let's see here. Okay, is there anything else I'm supposed to drum up more interest on it? Yeah. Oh, I'm supposed to give a little bit about the international scene. I would be remiss if I didn't mention cook stoves. The small project, working on this in Africa. I'm heading over there right after Thanksgiving. I'll be there for 3 weeks, going back again in the following years. Anybody that wants to volunteer, I'm sorry I have no money to offer you, but great opportunities. Head off to Africa and do some things there related to biochar or related to cook stoves and biomass energy and things like that. Just let me know. There are opportunities over there. Some of them are directly with me. Some of them are with other places, and I can open those doors for it. University of Dayton sends interns overseas every summer. It's an ethos program, something that they've got there. If any of the university groups that are here are saying, hey, we could organize, and in a group of, they go as pairs. Usually it's 2, maybe 2 or 3, and they're targeted on topics, not all of which are on stoves or biomass. Some of them are on wells and other types of things. But again, that's the type of stuff that I do, and happy to be of assistance, and thank you very much.